I don't get a jury. This was a trial should have never been brought, but if we had a jury, it would have been fair, at least, even if it was a somewhat negative jury, because no negative jury would vote against me. But this judge will, because this judge is a very partisan judge, with a person who's very partisan sitting alongside of him, perhaps even much more partisan than he is.
Donald Trump isn't just riding the struggle bus, he's driving it, and he's driving it straight off a cliff because he cannot stop attacking the various people involved in his many legal cases, even when he's been specifically instructed to shut up. Probably the hardest instruction he's ever had to take in his entire life. So now the judge overseeing his civil trial in New York has fined him $10,000 for violating a gag order that banned him from making comments about the court staff. And last week, he was fined $5,000 for a Truth Social post about the judge's law clerk that accused her of being Chuck Schumer's girlfriend. He spent $5,000 to make that post. Just keep that in mind. And as you saw in that clip, he made a thinly veiled reference to the clerk as being even more partisan than the judge. He just can't help himself. He can't shut the hell up. Now, because of these comments, Judge Arthur Engoron announced a surprise hearing today. Trump and his lawyers denied that he violated the gag order, even though he did so extremely publicly. But they claimed that he was talking about witness Michael Cohen, which brings in its own issues, but they're saying that's what he was doing when he said the person sitting next to him. A little bit from CNN. And Engoron asked Trump who he was referring to when he talked about the partisan person next to him. Trump said, "You and Cohen. Are you sure you didn't mean the person on the other side?" Engoron asked. "Yes, I'm sure," Trump responded, but that did not convince Engoron whatsoever, who responded by saying, "As the trier of fact, I find that the witness is not credible," Judge Arthur Engoron said after hearing from the former president under oath. "I hereby fine you $10,000, which is on the liberal side, to be paid within 30 days, the judge ruled. Now, after complaints from Trump's attorneys, Engoron had to give them this warning. He said, "I've reconsidered the ruling stands, don't do it again, or it'll be worse." Now, Cenk, one thing that has been boggling my mind throughout this entire ridiculous antics of Donald Trump throughout the civil trial is that he and his attorneys requested a bench trial. And then Trump said that it's severely unfair that there is no jury, despite the fact that he explicitly requested there be no jury. And then immediately started attacking the judge, who, as Engoron himself pointed out, is the sole trier of fact in this case. It is, and I would expect this type of nonsense from Donald Trump, but you think that his law school educated, bar certified attorneys might have tried to play things a little differently, knowing who their client is?
Yeah, no, but remember, he's hiring clowns off the street because legitimate attorneys won't work for him. He hired this lady who apparently did a terrible job of cross-examining Michael Cohen. And both Trump's critics and allies thought she did a miserable job. You know why he hired her? He saw her on Fox News. And I'll finish the thought, okay? Let's keep it real. He mainly hired her, one, because she was willing to do it, and two, because she was attractive. That's how this idiot makes decisions. So I don't know if it was him or his lawyers who forgot to check the box to ask for a jury trial. Like the very bare minimum. You can't get any easier than that. As legal counsel, it's just you checking a box. Like, you don't have to be a lawyer to do it. Anybody can do it. It's not legalese. Would you like a jury? Yes or no, right? And okay, this fool hires a bunch of foolish lawyers. They don't do the bare minimum. But okay, fine, you screwed it up. And you didn't ask for a jury trial. At least have the decency to not come out and be like, "Oh, it's so unfair, I don't get a jury." Come on, man. I know, it works with 40% of the country because they're never gonna hear the truth. And they're gonna hear on Fox News and Newsmax and all those garbage stations that he was unjustly denied a jury trial, right? But for the rest of us, I mean, everything he says further confirms what a lunatic he is. How about you ask for a jury trial, moron? Okay, and if you didn't ask for one, shut up, shutting up. And please, are there reporters, are there Democrats in the world? I mean, okay, How about somebody in Congress go on TV? Any Democrat step up and go, hey guys, look at what an idiot Trump is. He didn't ask for a jury trial, then he cries like a little baby, then he doesn't have a jury trial. Dumb, 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 okay? Until you drill it into people's heads that he's the one that didn't ask for the jury trial, and then he looks ridiculous. Do you know how many MAGA guys know that? I bet you the number is almost literally zero, okay? Because Fox News isn't gonna tell him that, and when the Democrats don't make a big deal out of it, nobody ever hears it except our side, which is useless.
The other thing he keeps doing is he keeps saying that he can't go and rally because he's stuck at this trial. And of course, Fox News is not gonna tell you, he doesn't have to be there. He doesn't have to go. He can just send his attorneys and that's fine. He doesn't have to attend physically. But they keep parroting this idea that it's interfering with democracy because he has to take time out of his campaigning schedule to go to New York for the civil trial. Again, doesn't have to be there, but they're not gonna learn that by listening to the right-wing news that they listen to. No one on Newsmax is gonna tell them that.
Yeah, right, that's also true. And then of course he said after one of the hearings, I can't, this is interfering with democracy. I gotta be on the campaign trail. And tomorrow, don't forget, I'm on my golf course. And then he promotes his golf course. So wait, is it a matter of democracy or is it a matter of golf? Okay. This guy doesn't give a damn about democracy. He's the one that's trying to undermine democracy. But look, this guy's a thug who is trying to intimidate every single witness and the people that work in the court system. He said about Michael Cohen, who's testifying against him, that it's, quote, not going to end up very good for him. Not gonna end up very good for him. I mean, how much more of a direct threat could it be? That sounds like exactly what a mob boss would say. Yeah, I suppose Michael could testify, but it's not gonna end up good for him, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I know what you mean, and that's intimidating a witness. The guy's totally out of control, doesn't believe the law applies to him. And for God's sake, I hope to God one of these judges and these juries make him aware of the American justice system, that no one is above the law, and it most definitely applies to him.
Yeah, and just a little more on the Michael Cohen side of things. Let's just go to this first video about what Trump said after Cohen testified.
How do you feel to see Michael Cohen here?
Well, you haven't seen him in 10 years, and you know his record. His record is a horrible one. All you have to do is ask the Southern District of New York. He's got a horrible record, but they're just starting. But you'll see how it ends up.
What about his testimony?
It's not going to end up very good.
What about his testimony?
We're not worried at all about his testimony.
He also repeatedly called him a disgrace and a felon, which is ironic if you consider why Michael Cohen had to go to jail in the first place, who he was doing the bidding of that caused him to go to jail. But I think it's really interesting that he's more hesitant to call out former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, who I feel that he believes holds a little power over him, because he was asked about the immunity deal that Meadows has allegedly taken, from special counsel Jack Smith. And Trump just said he doesn't believe it.
Well, I don't believe that, because I've spoken to Mark Meadows many times over the years, and he strongly believed the election was rigged. Now, of course, you know, deranged Jack Smith and the prosecutors, they go after somebody for years, and they say, look, here's the story, we'll give you nothing, we'll erect a statue to you, or you're gonna go to jail for 10 years for having done nothing wrong. So, you know, a lot of people have to make that decision. Some people would never make that decision, other people would. But Mark Meadows always felt it was rigged. His whole thing was rigged. It was rigged and it was stolen. And because it was rigged and stolen, our country's gone to hell.
Then he doubled down on that point on Truth Social when he posted this. It says, I don't think Mark Meadows would lie about the rigged and stolen, spelled with 2 L's, 2020 presidential election merely for getting immunity against prosecution, in quotes, parentheses, persecution by deranged prosecutor Jack Smith. But I think what we might be seeing here, Cenk, is, of course, Trump has always gone after those that he feels are attacking him. But I think that he's genuinely scared, because he knows that these people do hold some power over him, and that if they all flip on him, that things are gonna be awful for him personally. And some of these people might be able to avoid the jail time that they've been facing down or lessen their sentences. And that's appealing to them, as Donald Trump is not necessarily someone who would have their back and has very publicly attacked a lot of these people. So I think that by attacking Michael Cohen, he's trying to just blatantly disregard the gag orders that have been placed on him. But he's also, trying to show these other witnesses, this is what's gonna happen to you if you turn on me. Things are gonna get ugly. So he's buttering up Mark Meadows while also trying to scare those witnesses in those other trials.
Sometimes I don't get Donald Trump. What's the play when Mark Meadows has already testified in front of a grand jury? It's over, brother. He flipped on you. He can't take the grand jury testimony back. So he's like, I don't believe it. Okay, you're gonna believe it when he comes to the court and testifies against you. He already took a plea deal. What's there not to believe? He's so weird. I think he's just a child who's in denial. Like, no, I like Mark. Mark wouldn't turn on me. And then later, here's a guarantee. Write it down in stone. When he finds out, when you do an immunity deal, you already gave the evidence to the prosecutors. You already testified in front of a grand jury. Then he's gonna turn around and be like, Mark Meadows, deranged radical. I hate him. He's nuts. I'm totally mentally stable genius. But Mark Meadows, very bad guy. We don't like him anymore. And then of course his supporters are like, oh yeah, that's so manly. Is it? Is it? Because he seems like a little baby 24/7.
I wonder if he's gonna use his supporters' donations to pay that $10,000 fine. Almost certainly, right? Almost certainly.
Yeah,
richest man in the world.
Yeah, he's not paying. That's a great point. He's not paying the fines. He thinks his supporters are suckers and losers, and he makes them pay for everything.
Thanks for watching. If you become a member, you get to watch all this ad-free, except for, of course, this ad. Still, hit the join button below.